Well, hello and welcome back to the workshop, where today we're joined by Cavalex Models to look at the production samples of their Class 60s, which are now due to arrive imminently as we sit here today, aren't they, Alex?
They are, yes. These arrived on Monday, and as you can see behind us, we have a few production models off the production line which look absolutely amazing, and I have to say I can't believe how good they are.
So you're obviously really happy with how the project's gone. I mean, it's
Yes.
a long process to get to this point, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a good few years to get to this point, so this is where it all comes alive, where we see the models coming off the production line, and it's so exciting.
Yeah. So obviously we followed the story all the way through with the Class 60 development, but are there any changes with the actual final production models versus what we've seen on previous samples?
There were a few minor tweaks just before production. Cav and I actually went out to China and visited the factory and saw them in production, and whilst we were there, or rather just before we were there, we made a few slight tweaks to a few things that we weren't quite happy with. Things were very good, but we just thought they could be enhanced and improved. So a few minor things, most people wouldn't notice them, but with our OCD we did notice them, and we wanted to get them as right as we possibly could.
Absolutely. And then obviously from the factory's point of view, I mean, there's a lot of detail variations, not just in the physical entity of these models, also in the print details as well, the livery application as well. That's really quite complex for a factory to deal with, isn't it?
Yes, it is. As you say, it's not just all the different parts and tooling differences that we've got across the suite, but it's also the painting and printing as well. As you've seen, there are a lot of differences between, for example, 001 right the way up to the latest ones, steel on steel, and the DCR and Kappa ones.
Yeah. So on the layout today, we've got about half a dozen of the production samples. Can you talk us through what each one of those is in terms of the locomotive number and what its livery is?
So the original as-built 001. So we wanted to replicate the real loco as it was handed over on the 30th of June 89 from Brush Electrical Machines to British Rail. So that model represents it on that day. Then we have the sector ones through to privatisation, then through privatisation EWS, EW&S, all the way through up to the current day.
Yeah. And within that as well, it's like you mentioned 001, there's lots of unique features on 6001, which we'll come on to in a moment. But even through the rest of the locos, even when you move on, you've got different roof details for different periods of life, like there's load haul modifications, weren't there, to the roofs, scavenger rents put in, then there's all the latest modern lights have been done as well, haven't they?
Yes, that's right. So we've there were a lot of changes as part of the development when the 60 was made and when they were being built, and afterwards, as you say, the scavenger ports on the roof vents, and then there was the GPS, the GSMR, through the Super 60 program. Some had the aerial pods removed, some didn't. Then the GSMR fins added, and the GPS bracket over the horns, the horn covers. There are a lot of differences across them.
And then in terms of the detail of these models, then can you take us into the mindset of like just how fine you're going in terms of the detail for these models?
Yeah, I mean, Cav and I obviously were all about the detail. So, for example, in the cabs themselves, there are the different air conditioning vents for the driver. There's then the little fan that you get for the modern ones. The different printing elements. All the dials are printed. All the different warning labels in the cab, the different labels on the bogies and the underframe. It's picking out all these details, with the different roof panels, the horns. It's just picking everything out. The light clusters, of course, the original BMAC to the then latest LED BMACs, which we have on 028 and 029. So it's all these little things that we want to pick out. For example, with the original BMAC, we've got the ribbing on the tail light and the headlight, and the tail light itself is actually a red lens as per the real thing. So we want to get the details, you know, right as best we can.
Yeah, so I did notice, like looking around the bogies, like you mentioned the bogie detail, but actually even the little stickers or plaques on the shock dampers on the outer axles,
Yes.
they've actually got individual markings on those.
Yes, they
and
have.
Some of them they're actually omitted, aren't they?
Yes. So as built, they had the Coney damper plates on them, the little brass plates, and then the later sort of Super 60 ones, they then have a little sticker, and obviously not all dampers had them, so that's why with the modern day ones you'll see some of the dampers have stickers and some don't, and that's as per the real thing.
And then you've also modelled locos with either short range original fuel tanks,
Yes.
and with the modified long range ones
Yes.
as well, haven't you? And that triggered a change in the position of the air compressor tank.
Yes, it did, and the air tank then moved from underneath up inside to the number one end, and then they had the additional fuel tank underneath, and you can see that replicated on the models here today.
And it goes a lot further than, doesn't it? Because it's like actually the lighting features you've got built into these as well. They really do replicate every detail of what a Class 60 would do in terms of illumination, don't they?
Yes, we work closely with companies that operate them, ex-drivers, to make sure that we could replicate that closely with ESU. So you've got the marker lights, the tail lights, the headlights, all independent, and then with the DC rail modifications to their LED BMAX, we've replicated that as well.
Yeah, I think there's two things from driving these myself today that'll probably catch people out. I think the first thing is actually that when you turn the lights on, the main headlight doesn't illuminate, does it?
No, that's
It
right.
actually then turns on when you start moving the locomotive, doesn't it?
Yes, that's right, because it's when you put the reverser into forward or reverse. When it's in engine only, you just get the marker light, but then when you either go into forward or reverse, depending which way you're going, the headlight will then come on, and then as soon as the driver stops and puts it back into engine only, the headlight then goes off, which we've replicated on the model.
Which is quite clever. And then you've also got the yard mode as well, which actually puts the two reds on each end and the two outer white marker lights permanently at both ends, doesn't it?
Yes, so we have shunt mode and we have yard mode. So yard mode just has the two markers, and then shunt mode has the two markers and two tail lights, as you said, but at both ends.
Yeah. And then one feature I've never seen before is you've also got hazard lights as
Yes.
well, which is something I've never come across before myself, particularly on a model locomotive.
Yes, we were made aware of this. It was, I believe, early 2000s. This was then introduced to warn a train coming in the other direction of a potential hazard ahead. So yeah, we were very keen to replicate that on the original BMAC and the LED BMAC version as well.
Yeah. Amazing to see how many more lighting functions are now possible as well with these modern circuit boards and modern decoders. And talking to decoders, obviously you partnered with ESU to create the sound file for this. We did the video about how you recorded the sound with 60074 back in summer 2024, and you're happy with the end result for that?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, we're really pleased to be working with ESU, and as you know, the visit to Toten, we recorded the sounds and they've been replicated on the model, and it is just fantastic. And we would suggest that those customers that do purchase the 60 read the manual, take your time and understand about driving it, because you need to understand how it drives and how it replicates in model form. But the way ESU have replicated the sound in the model is just fantastic. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Super. And then there's a couple of particular individual locos we've got to talk about. One is the very first, which is 60001. Again, you've really gone to town in terms of the presentation of that as well, haven't you?
Yes, we wanted to recognise 001 for the pioneer of the class, and to model it, as I said earlier, when it was handed over from Brush to British Rail in that condition, and we wanted to give it a special feel with a bit of nostalgia and history, to commemorate the loco, and that's why we've included the replica build plate and some historic memorabilia to go with it.
Yeah, but it actually comes in with the unique box artwork.
It does, yes.
Yeah, which is actually, that's actually a photograph of it on its launch day.
Yes,
Brush,
it is.
isn't it?
Yeah, thanks to Craig Simmons, who has allowed us to use his amazing photo on the front of the box. We wanted it to have a really special feel to not just the model but the whole presentation.
And then obviously there's lots of variations of detail with 60001, from its twin exhaust to the early snow ploughs, the lack of the fairings around the front as well. Is there any particular highlight of that, putting that package together for the physical model, that really stands out for you?
I have to say, I think the tinted side windows is a lovely feature, but as you say, replicating all the differences I think is probably the thing for me, because it was very different from the others. Yeah. Although in that condition, it's just nice to see that as it is.
There is another loco that everyone will be blown away by the livery on this, particularly when they see it up close, I think, and that's 60062, which you've done as an exclusive for rails, isn't it? So can you talk us through how you've actually got that livery to work on the model?
I have to confess, when we first thought about it, we saw the real loco and thought, is that possible to recreate that? But I know a couple of European manufacturers have or are replicating a similar livery. So we sent photos to the factory and sort of had preliminary conversations about did they think they could do it, and they initially said yes. They conducted some testing and were updating us with photos and videos, and then as time went on and the more testing they did, we could then see that it was looking like they could do it. And then when they sent the first pre-production sample, it's absolutely amazing to see how they have replicated that. It's just phenomenal.
I think everyone's going to be looking forward to seeing these now. So we mentioned at the top of the video that they're due imminently now.
Yes.
But with 17 different versions, can we expect all at once? How are they actually going to arrive?
They're going to arrive in 2 batches. So there will be a batch coming from the factory before Chinese New Year, and then the second batch will be leaving the factory just after Chinese New Year. So they're coming in 2 batches. Yeah.
Excellent. So the first one, like we said, it's due very soon, and keep an eye on your retailers and on Cavalex's website for a latest update when that's actually going to be in stock for you to purchase. And that first batch as well does, I can say, from the Key Model World point of view, it includes 60029 as well. So anyone who's pre-ordered 60029 in DC Rail Grey, look out for in your inbox for an email from us very soon when we come and ask for your balance payment to complete your purchase. So we're looking forward to seeing all these Class 60s. So I have another important question for you, Alex, as well, which is actually, having done all the research on these and explored all these locos, have you actually got a personal favourite? Because it's not just about making models for you, it's actually a real personal investment in making these, isn't it? It
is. I have to say, me personally, Metals was always my favourite livery, and I thought 049 was going to be my favourite, but when 10 turned up the other day in unbranded DB Red, I was thinking, wow, there was something about that. I don't know if it was because we were at Doncaster together and for the launch video, but that really stands out for me. But then I look at 001, which to me the sector livery was always best for 60s. But then I see steel on steel, and then I see GVRF, and I see the Codus one, I see the Kappa one, and I see the DC Rail one. To be honest with you, I'm struggling because
struggling for a favourite.
Yeah. I don't think I could at this moment in time.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us today, Alex, and thank you for talking through the Class 60 and production samples. For everyone at home, thank you for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this latest update with Cavalex Models about their Class 60. As we say, it is coming very soon. You can look out for more information on the Cavalex Models website, also online at keymodelworld.com, and also we'll be covering it as a full review in Hornby magazine very soon as well. Thank you once again for watching today, and we'll see you next time.